I'm so busy. It's work from home Friday. So do you guys remember back in 2010 I did a video called Busy Busy Bee? Well, this is kind of like Busy Busy Bee Part 2, but I'm calling it Crazy Calendar because oh my gosh, the calendar. So I barely even know where to begin. I guess I'll start back in Memorial Day because it's kind of the beginning of the summer and now it's the end of July and the summer has just been blur. So Memorial Day was Denver Comic Con. Tammy and I went, but I didn't bring a camera because I wanted to be there and experience it. We had a great time and had a lot of fun. And also that weekend we had the idea we were going to do a game marathon and try to play all the games in our closet that two people could possibly play. So we ended up with over 12 hours of footage from 3 different cameras capturing all the action. But ultimately we failed at our challenge and so I ended up dumping like 36 hours worth of footage. But we shall try again and we shall succeed. And on Memorial Day weekend we went on this huge bike ride and we rode our bicycles like 20 miles. We had to leave from the house so we had to plan our route because we didn't have Buster to put the bikes in. Oh, I have to tell you about that! So I'm sure you remember me talking about the hailstorm that happened in September, back when we were living in the hotel before we even had this house, and Buster got all hail damage. It was really, really sad. So it took forever to get an appointment at the body shop. The hailstorm was in September, and my body shop appointment wasn't until April, and even that appointment got pushed back till May, and then it was going to take 6 more weeks to get it done. We were going to be with one car family for 6 weeks, and oh, it was crazy! Now I fully appreciate the fact that I'm whining about being a one car family makes me incredibly spoiled sounding, and I know that I am utterly and totally blessed, and I'm very, very thankful for a normal 2-car family. I'm also very, very blessed and thankful for my wife, who while we were a one-car family, voluntarily rode public transit for a while to get to work.
I do.
You're welcome. Bye. Bye. Tammy was a great sport about the whole thing and we managed to get through it just fine. But ultimately, with Buster not going into the shop till the end of May and having a 6-week project time, I was almost going to miss my trip to Ouray. And now I have to tell you about my trip to Ouray. Ouray is a little bitty town in the southwest corner of Colorado. It's beautiful. They call it the Switzerland of the Americas. And some guys from work go there every year and they go camping and 4-wheeling up in the mountains. And you know what? Before I can tell you about that, I have to tell you about all the other stuff. So I was going to go camping with the guys from Ouray. I had to get out all my camping gear. And it turned out when we sold our house in Texas, we sold our tent that we had had since before we were married. And we had to buy a new tent. So I got all the old camping gear out. I got the new tent. And I thought, you know, we need to do a beta test of all of this stuff to make sure everything still works and I know how to use the new tent. So Tammy and I went camping. We went up in the mountains and we found a really great place by the Swan River. And we find out Tammy likes collecting the pretty rocks out of the streams, and I like looking at the trails and the campfire and s'mores, and oh, it was a good time.
This is Tammy's carn. Of course, she calls it a corn and asks if I want salt and butter on it.
We also found out that there was a lot of great trails up there where I could ride my motorcycle, so I got out my motorcycle. Well, then my motorcycle wouldn't start, and then I had to take my motorcycle to the shop, but I couldn't take it to the shop with Buster because I didn't have Buster. Buster was in the shop, and I needed the trailer. Trailer was at Randy's house. Now I have to tell you about that! So one of the reasons we picked this house was because it had a stretch of fence that was long enough we could put in a gate. We could have the shed and we could have the gravel where we could put the trailer and all that, just like we did in Texas. But in Texas we didn't have a homeowners association, so that was a whole new headache we had to learn about. And I've already discussed at length about how our backyard is such a mess and it needed to be worked on, so we need to get landscapers to come in, we need to build a fence, we need to build a shed. Oh. Now I'd actually scheduled the landscapers all the way back in March and they said we might be able to start at the beginning of April, and then that got pushed back by bad weather, and then finally back in the middle of June we finally started the project. So they came in with this cool little bucket machine and they scraped out all the old sand and gravel and weeds and rocks and all the nasty stuff that was already there, and they cleaned it all up and they built me a fence with a gate, and now we have gravel and we have a place to put the trailer, and hooray! And I've already started working on the footprint for the shed, where the shed is going to go, and the shed could have been put in last week but we had to delay it because we had some stuff going on with Tammy's family coming to town. I might as well tell you about that. So Tammy's mom and sister are the first people to come visit us in our new house, and they're actually here right now, except they're not here, they're with Tammy. Tammy took the day off and they're having a mountain day. We had to schedule the in-laws visit very carefully because we had to fit it in between the trip to Ouray and the backpacking trip. I'm going backpacking with Shane next week and I haven't even started to talk about that because it hasn't happened yet, but let me tell you about Ouray. So the great thing about Ouray is that there's really a lot to do. There's all these little gold mining towns. There's Silverton and Telluride and all the little places around, and they all have good places to eat and cool things to see, and the mountains are staggeringly beautiful. Plus you get to take your trucks up all over the mountains and you go 4-wheeling everywhere. Now we don't go off-roading because off-roading means you're going off the road, and we stay on the road. It's just that the roads are very rough. And on top of that, most of those really cool trails also accommodate my motorcycle, so you know I brought Ripper and went for a ride. And as you can imagine, I have lots and lots of GoPro footage of both riding the motorcycles in the mountains and driving the trucks in the mountains. The first video of the trucks is already done here. Here's the playlist where you can check back later because oh, I'm just not done yet. And now it's getting late and I have to get back to work because it's work from home Friday. It's not play from home Friday. But one more thing I want to squeeze in here is Randy Pants video channel. Please go check out Misinformation with Randy. It's hilarious. He posts all the time. Watch, watch, watch. Click, click, click. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And now I have to get back to work. I have to work. Go away, shoo. You know what that means. So we got the new camp. And I've already discussed at length about how But ultimately with butts are not going in till May and having 6 weeks. But ultimately with butts are not going in till May and then having a 6-week. So I got the new tent and I got all the old camping gear and I thought, you know, I really should have. What are you going to say? But ultimately with Tammy. His misinformation with Randy is awesome and it's all the time and it's coming and just